Hello and welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host Brian West, here to give you your top 8 comedy stories and headlines that made it throughout the week. Now let me remind you that the stories are real, but the jokes are only made to entertain. They're on me, they're on the house. None of the content in this segment is made to offend or hurt anyone, only made to inform and entertain. Now let's get to the top 8 stories that made into The Mediator this week. Story number 1, ladies and gents. Trump has Iran on the radar again. The Trump administration is on alert with Iran again by bringing them up and putting them in the news. And now, after protesters took to the streets of Iran, the talk is now centered on the nuclear deal drafted by the Obama administration, known as the JCPOA. Now, President Trump is very critical of the deal, but the Europeans don't want the U.S. to abandon the agreement. The sanctions against Iran were put in place to curb their nuclear program. Now, in the deal, Iran was cut from the global financial system. President Trump has since extended the sanctions relief, while the White House wants European powers to drop the hammer on restrictions set to expire in 2025, which will put more pressure on the Iran uranium enrichment program. So it's trying to put more pressure on the Iranians to basically destabilize their nuclear program. Now, it seems that the president is also concerned about Iran's missile program also. Now, what makes this story important is the growing threats of countries aiding terrorists and trying to become a nuclear power. Now, these two concerns, is basically terrorism and nuclear threats, is probably what's keeping global officials awake at night. Now it's time for the sweet stuff. The leader of North Korea has reportedly invited Iran to the Winter Olympics, and reports say that he sent a postcard with the message, "Take a break. Let's fire the missiles later." A little message was mailed to the Iranian supreme leader. Now just remember, the substance of the joke is basically to say that the odd couple of people rushing to get nukes across the United States, especially little nations like North Korea, continues to grow. In countries like Iran, their nose continues to grow as they continue to spread out the lies. And not only is their nose growing, but we're having a hard time figuring out who will be playing Pinocchio in the next Disney adventures. Now let's get to story number 2. Kim Jong-un, there may be a spot for your smiling face in the next play, huh? Story number 2. Chile takes shots at the World Bank. Chile is upset with the World Bank, claiming that they are being treated unfairly due to manipulation that showed a decline in Chile's business conditions, which they are saying is due to political reasons. Now, if you do not know how the World Bank works, it's basically just like a credit rating, the basics for countries to be able to get money and get loans. So Chile is a little bit upset. They basically operate just probably like any other bank, except it's for the world. I guess that's how it works. If I'm wrong, you can look it up. Now, it says, it seems that the World Bank is checking into the claims by Chile's president and is denying any political bias. Now, Chile ranks 55th out of 190 countries. Now, that's a big decrease compared to being 34th in 2014. Now, the year, I guess, President Michelle Bachelet took office. So she's basically making these claims against the bank, saying that they are using politics to downgrade their rating. And now the president, I guess she's very concerned about this matter because when she won the election, she promised to slash the red tape and boost investments with her country. And I guess the World Bank is standing in her way. So she's basically saying they're a roadblock on her quest to not only slash the red tape, but also boost investments within the country. This is a big deal to her, and I guess she is trying to fight back against the World Bank, which she's a brave woman. I wish her the best of luck. Now, I want you to take note, because there were some things that made the news about Trump's remarks to Haiti. I'm sure you all know what he said. Some people say that he said the country was a S-hole. Hole. Hole. Now, the United States is ranked number 6 on the World Bank's rating list, and Haiti is ranked number 181 out of 190 countries. Now, I want you to be very, very quiet about this. Shh. We don't want President Trump to know this. Can't have any holes coming out of anybody else's mouth in Congress. We want to keep that ready. We want to get to number 1 so we can get some more loans so I can pay on my car and get some big time promotions on my Google Analytics. Story number 3. A brawl at a pizza shop over a missing cell phone. Listen, don't get mad at me, the mediator. I tell you, the stories are real, but the jokes are only made to entertain. There's a lot of love and joy in mediation. Lots of it. To hand out information, knowledge, fresh new ideas for you, just for tuning in. Now, a report of a fight that broke out at a pizza shop in the San Francisco Bay Area made some headlines this week. I guess the fight caused an uproar not only between the people fighting, but between other customers as well, because their kids were present. They were pretty upset. Now, it turns out that the fight and commotion was all for nothing, because the phone was not even actually missing. It was in the lost and found. It's time for the sweet stuff, ladies and gents. Brace yourselves. The jokes are only made to entertain, filled with love and joy, packaged with me, the mediator. Now, the manager reportedly broke up the fight and gave the brawling group the phone, while also telling them that they can use an app to order their next pizza next time. We don't want any more commotion in our stores. Please, make your way and clean up this blood and go to the exit. Can't have any fighting in our store. Please, folks, if you're going to bring commotion into the store to buy pizza and you want extra cheese, use the app and stay at home and fight in the living room. Or you can call Matty and fight with him and wrestle on his trampoline. Matty is a good friend of mine. He often goes outside back and wrestles with his teddy bears on his trampoline, and he's welcoming anybody who wants to have a WWE matinee at his house. I may go up there myself to release some stress. Like I said, mediation can be tough, but somebody's got to do it. Story number 4. Bed bugs on a British Airways fight. Now, after already trying to clean up their reputation, a British Airways flight I guess they had to ground a jet because of bed bugs reportedly crawling on the seats of the jet. Not something you want when you're trying to make a good impression. Now, there is no word on whether ISIS was responsible. Now, thank God it was just bed bugs. Don't need any more bombs, any more planes flying into anything. I want you people and who support ISIS to understand that I like living, and I'm sure everybody alive likes living too, if you know what I mean. The goddess of life, who was reportedly the goddess of Egypt, named Isis, I don't think she wants us using her name in vain. Life is good, especially in mediation, where it's up to me to give you joy and laughter with a story to keep you thinking and informed. That's a specialty, patented and laced out by the mediator. Peace is the way when you're standing in the middle. Story number 5. I feel good. Are big corporations policies good or bad? Can you dig it, man? It says, with continuing booming profits and a Congress in favor of creating jobs by limiting regulations and bringing more wealth back into the U.S., people are now wondering if this is good for the private, family-owned, and small business sector. It's a man's world. But somebody's got to be responsible for these people losing business. And if it's a man, then maybe a woman might have to step up to the plate and conceal the wounds. Now, to the sweet stuff. Now, word on the street is that if you see a casino project moving in the neighborhood, and you notice Little Gina's restaurant closing right along with the local church, you may want to start reading the newspaper, because the chances of you getting hit by a drunk driver just increased. Can you dig it, man? You know what I'm saying? Like a sex machine? What I'm saying is that if the corporations is moving in, somebody got to moving out. Can you dig it? You know what I'm saying, man? I got it on the sex machine. Dynamite, baby. So basically, keep your eyes on the family businesses. The vacuum prices may be high, but they may be hiring your family members to stay in that neighborhood. We got to start thinking policies when we want to save the U.S. economy. And if a big box store comes in your neighborhood, well, all I'm saying is that there's a good chance that if you selling, then there's a good chance that you may go out of business just because of a $19.99 discount. Can you dig it, man? Now let's get to story number 6. I don't want to lose my composure in mediation. Now, what to do about student loan defaults? Now, while everyone moves on, it seems that student loan defaults are still rising, especially among minority groups. Now, there has been a bunch of brainstorming sessions, but still little has been done about debts because the debts keep rising. Money, 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 money. Somebody's got to pay up, and if the students ain't got it, where you gonna get the money from? That's the question, folks. Now it's time to get to the joke. Now, like I said, the jokes are only made to entertain, but the stories are real. Somebody's got to pay these bills around here, and these students are in debt. Now, they may be protesting, but they got bills to pay. They need jobs. When you graduate, we got to keep this issue alive because they may be suffering. Some of them even start using drugs because they're so stressed out they don't want to be on earth, and some of them even got babies to feed. They made the right decision to go learn and invest in themselves, but they got to pay the bills. You should not be upset about a choice to do the right thing. Is the country fair? Does things need to be changed around? Do we need to start watching Mama's Family to start bringing up the ratings, to put the ads on the right channels for the college debt so people can start seeing the big picture? Now, it seems a man was holding a sign that read, "If your milkshake is bringing all the boys to the yard, take the money and put it toward your student loans." No offense, but the man was fired from his job for his harassing comments. Now, this is just a joke. I made it up, but reports say that he had just got caught up on his student loans, and apparently he had been living in solitude and taking his paychecks and putting them towards his loans. Damn! Why didn't we all think of that? I want to keep this serious, but like I said, the jokes are only made to entertain, but you got to stay in the middle. You start to understand how mediation works. The stories are serious, but the jokes are to keep you informed and laughing and keeping you on the right track. Somebody's got to save this country, and if it ain't the mediator, then it's got to be you. Can I get an amen? Now let's get to story number 7. The final 2 stories that made into the Mediator this week. We almost through, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you so much for riding the Mediator Express, but we're down to the final 2 stories of the day. Does the U.S. need immigration reform? This is serious business. Now, after a wave of deportations and more to come, people can't get a grasp on who has turned America's tolerance towards the law into a mass wave of enforcement, enforcing the laws of deporting not only legal immigrants, but just illegal immigrants, and some of them on the DACA program. I'll get to that in a second. Not only has President Trump demanded a wall be built, but immigrants who have been in the country for over 30 years with an argument for citizenship are also being deported under President Trump's presidency. Now, although President Trump may not be the blame, many citizens whom have developed a relationship with these people are starting to take notice and stir up the U.S., which is the melting pot. Now, we don't know if President Trump is to blame, but as soon as he got in office, people start getting kicked out. So maybe he is to blame. Maybe his policies are to blame. Who is the driving force around this? I don't want to put him on the spot because he has a lot of people in his corner. And not only do they want the facts, that's why you have to look it up and see where these new immigration policies are coming from. I encourage you, if you are affected or you have somebody you are fighting for, that you get involved, because this is serious business. Folks have been here and they don't want to go. They don't want to leave. Some of them are fighting very, very hard in the melting pot. And I want you to understand the United States has been the melting pot for a long time. People have come over here, migrated. Indians have lost land. Africans were enslaved. We fought for freedom, fought for rights. Now, people who do not want to be deported are fighting for their freedom and want to be citizens, but they need a pathway. So if you want to contact your congressman, I really encourage you to get involved. Now is no time for Americans to be sitting on the couch watching reruns of Saved by the Bell, when we could be saving some folks who are supposed to be illegal or who are trying to want to get citizenship. Now, these are aspiring people who some people feel that they are taking off regular citizens' plate. Now, let me remind you that some regular citizens have not even been an asset to their own country. They not have even taken advantage of even laws. Now, this is even in the African American community. Some African Americans have not taken advantage of their rights that have been given to them by the government because some of their ancestors were enslaved. But some people who come from other countries have taken advantage, and they are progressing, but they are basically reportedly about to be deported. So this is a big issue, and there's going to be a lot of seesawing going on when it comes to this issue, because somebody has got to be picking up the weight, folks. And if it's up to the mediator to bring it up, I will not bite my tongue. I told you in mediation I will try to spew out the facts, folks. La 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 la. Now let's get to the rest of the story. Now, in all of the changes, even DACA, like I said, the DACA, the Dreamers, basically no one has a clue how this will change the future. The future is unknown when we're referring to foreign relations because of what's going on, because of deportation. We don't know what's going to happen when these people get deported. We don't know if they're going to get if any harm's going to come to them. We don't know if they're going to starve. What we're saying is they know a language that other people do not know, and they may not even know their native language. Folks, this is serious. So if you do not know what's going on, that's what I'm saying. These people are going to get deported, and they're going to go to their country, and they're going to go to their native country where their ancestors were from, and they are going to go into a system, and they are probably going to fall at the wayside because of the fact that they've been in the United States so long. Some people are saying that if they broke the law, then they got to go. But I encourage you to get on this. Now, the ripple effect is unknown at this moment, but we do not know how this is going to affect the future, folks. We do not know. But I'm telling you, when you've been someplace and you've kicked your feet up and you've been kicked out, no one knows how that's going to turn out. No one knows how it's going to affect the United States. It may be an advantage for some. It may be a reason why some citizens step up. We don't know, but somehow, some way, once we got a Republican House and a Republican president, which is not bad, They started enforcing the laws on immigration. That's why people are pushing for immigration reform. No time to sit on the couch, folks. Now it's time to get to the sweet stuff of the matter. Reports say, like I said, the jokes are only made to entertain, but reports say that Hunger Games Part 4 will be hitting theaters soon. But that's just half of the joke. I guess President Trump has demanded that the film be shot in Haiti so that the proceeds can be used to build a wall. Now, I want you to understand how this song goes. I'm coming. Ooh, 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 I'm coming. TRUMPPO. Tap my cell and my phone in the basement. See my team supreme. Stay dream. Triple B miracle dream. I be that. Can't you see that? All of them just girls on shoulders. I don't know what they want from me. It's like the more money we come about, the more problems we see. Coming. Story number 8. And the final story that made it into the media this week. I said mediation can be tough. Stand in the middle of the battle between liberals, conservatives, informed voters, and uninformed. Sometimes you got to get up and dance. Stay alive. We got to fight for the right to party. Now, this happened in Youngstown. There was a man who owns a store around here, and he may be getting kicked out of the country. One minute the man was partying, next minute ICE comes in and say he's got to go. This is serious business. But I'm glad I got my groove on before I got into the mix. Now, story number 8, and the final story that made it into the media this week. Now, an ex-postal worker burned 20 tubs of mail. Now, there was a report about a former postal worker from Louisiana who reportedly burned 20 tubs of mail on his rural route. Dog it. Don't worry, folks, though. When he was caught, he was apparently fired. Get it? Burned? Mail? Fired? Ooh-wee, I'm heating up, boy. Well, I want to thank you so much for tuning into the media this week. And don't forget to show us some love. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to show us some support by spending a little bit of money or donating, you can go to our website, sponsor us, or either buy something, click on something, watch something, or read something. And show us some love, show us some help. I want to thank you so much for tuning to the media this week. And don't forget, there's a lot going on in the world. But a person who sits back is not really wise after all, because even in wisdom, you will realize that eventually the woes of the world will catch up to you. I want to thank you so much for tuning to the media this week. Have a good week, everybody.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The mediator